Thank you. Good morning and welcome to everybody. It's always such a treat to see all of you come out to support each other and to kick off the new school year together. I hope you know, as Diane and Michael and everyone is mentioning this morning, how important you are to the city, to the students of New York City. As you're hearing, education is and as you know, education is a family and community affair. U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan has called education the most pressing issue facing America today. So here we are on the ground, in the schools, because we know education matters and that engaged citizens really do make a difference. Thank you, each and every one of you, for stepping up and carrying on the great work of learning leaders. I have the pleasure of introducing you to our much esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. John King, Jr., New York State Commissioner of Education and President of the University of the State of New York. Commissioner King is a veteran trailblazer in the field of education and a tireless advocate for quality and accountability in New York State's public schools. I think you'll agree, as New Yorkers, we're lucky to have him at the state education's highest post. In fact, when we talk about learning leaders' work to promote academic excellence and post-secondary success, this is what we're shooting for. Commissioner King has an undergraduate degree from Harvard, a law degree from Yale, and a doctorate from Columbia. And for all our Brooklyn learning leaders out there, guess what? You get to claim this flatland native as your own. As New York's first African American and first Puerto Rican education commissioner, Dr. King brings a wealth and breadth of firsthand knowledge to his work in statewide education reform. Among Commissioner King's key issues are closing the achievement gap, preparing students to excel in college and career, and helping underperforming schools get back on track. He sees meaningful family engagement as an integral part of the solution. We are so honored to have Commissioner King join us this morning. Welcome, Dr. King, and thank you.
Good morning. Oh, now Michael had you practice. Good morning. There we go. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be here with all of you. Very appreciative of learning leaders, staff, and board for putting this event together. Michael Mulgrew for being here, the members of the mayor's staff and the city council for being here. I want to do a couple things this morning. One is I want to thank you very sincerely on behalf of the citizens of the state for the work that you do in schools. And then I want to ask you to do some more. And I want to ask you to help with a couple of projects. Let me start with the thank you. I was at an event yesterday where President Clinton was talking about the role of education in American society. And so I was thinking a lot about the president. I was remembering he had said this phrase about volunteering that I thought was very powerful. He said, volunteering is an act of heroism on a grand scale, and it matters profoundly. It does more than help people beat the odds. It changes the odds. And I think that's exactly right. The work that you're doing in schools as volunteers has the potential to transform students' trajectory in life, and did for me. I grew up in Brooklyn, as Ellen said, in Flatlands in Brooklyn. I went to PS 276 in Canarsie. And my mom was a guidance counselor at PS 276. And so, just as for many of you, your parents and you're volunteering in your kids' school, so my mom was in school every day. And as those of you who are with your kids every day in their schools, you know that is a very powerful thing. There was nothing I could do wrong that I would get away with at PS 276 because my mom was in school every day. And so even when I thought about doing something wrong, I looked at the teacher and I knew the first thing that teacher would do is say, let's go talk to your mom about it. So that was very powerful. That kept me, I credit that with a lot of my success in life, that I was put on a very good trajectory because my mom was in school every day. And then the other thing about having my mom in school every day is that I had the opportunity when I was in kindergarten to go to first grade for the afternoon. And now being a parent of a kindergartner who is so excited about getting to do all the kindergarten things, I've been thinking back to how when I was in kindergarten, not only did I love kindergarten, but then when everyone else left, because it was half-day kindergarten, I got to go to first grade. Right? And so all my life, I've seen academic achievement as this privilege to get to go, not just do the kindergarten things, but do the first grade things. And that was very powerful, and that was because my mom needed to work, and so there needed to be some place for me to go, and so first grade it was. But then later, at PS 276, my mom actually passed away when I was a kid. She had a heart attack at work, 48. I was 8. It was the fall of my 4th grade year. And it would have been very possible for my life to go off the rails, and it didn't because of school. It didn't because of the adults in that school, and because they saw me as a part of their family. And it would have been very easy for my teacher, Mr. Osterwald, in 4th grade, who truly is the reason I'm standing here today. Mr. Osterwald could have written me off. At the time, I lived with my father, who was quite ill already at that point, and he passed away later when I was in middle school. Mr. Osterwald could have written me off. He could have said, here's this African-American, Latino boy in Brooklyn who has now a single parent. Look at all he's dealing with at home. What chance does he have? He could have written me off, but he didn't. And that school didn't write me off. They invested in me, just as you are investing in students whose lives are incredibly complicated. There are some students for whom life at home is very supportive, and there are other students who you're working with for whom life at home is challenging for any number of reasons, whether it's because of economic challenges or substance abuse issues in the family or domestic violence issues in the family. But for them, we can create, and this is what I've tried to do in my career as a teacher and a principal and now working with the state, we can create this space that surrounds them with love and academic challenge. And that's what you do. It is a tremendous contribution. And I'm sure there are times when it's tough because you have so many things going on in your life and you think, if I didn't have to go volunteer today, I could get those things done. But you still go. And that's why I think President Clinton was right to say that volunteerism is an act of heroism. It is an act of intentional self-sacrifice on behalf of others. And that is a very powerful gift that you are giving. So thank you very much for what you do, because I know you are having the impact in somebody's life that those teachers at PS 276 had in mind. So let me turn now to a couple requests, a couple asks that I have for you. One of the things we're doing at the state is we've recently adopted the Common Core standards. What's unique about these new standards that we've adopted for math and English language arts is that these standards were built by going to higher education, to college faculty, to employers, and asking, what are the skills students need when they graduate from high school? See, in the United States, historically, the way we've developed standards is we start with kindergartners, and we say, well, that's what a kindergarten needs to know. And now a first grader, they need to know a little bit more than that. And a second grader, a little bit more still. These standards were different because they started by saying, what does it take for a student not just to enter college, but graduate from college? And then given that knowledge, then what does that mean for what they need to know at 10th grade or 7th grade or 3rd grade? And so these Common Core standards have the potential to transform teaching and learning in our schools, and it is important that you as volunteers in the schools support that work on the Common Core and get to know the Common Core.